Hi, my name is Susan DeMilia. I'm the owner of Circle Speech Services. You are at our small talk video chat, and today I am speaking to Amy Mattle. Amy is a registered dietitian and owner of Nutrition Healing Now in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Amy is a registered dietitian and nutritionist, mother of three, and an advocate for children with autism. Her passion for nutrition started at the University of Delaware, where she became an RDN in 1996. Prior to seeing private clients, Amy worked at Chestnut Hill Hospital in Philadelphia, seeing pediatric and adult inpatients with conditions ranging from cancer to type 1 diabetes. Welcome, Amy. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Susan. Thank you so much for having me.
Could you tell me a little bit about how you became interested specifically in working with children and how nutrition impacts children with autism?
Sure. With the birth of my son, Ryan, my firstborn, I realized how crucial nutrition and the power of food would be for our family, and more specifically for Ryan. He was diagnosed with autism in 2008, and we tried a number of different therapies and doctors with limited success. We knew something was missing, so after much research, I decided to start Ryan on a gluten-free, casein-free diet, and the results were amazing. He had dramatic improvements in communication, in behavior, and with his focus. Now, seeing how well Ryan did really made me passionate and excited to share this information with other families and help their children in the same way.
How does diet and nutrition affect children on the spectrum?
That's a great question. It's a plain and simple fact that what we put into our mouths can have a profound influence on how we think and behave. The brain is dependent on our diet and food intake in order to get certain nutrients it needs to function smoothly and properly. Conversely, there are also certain substances and chemicals in our food supply that have been shown to adversely affect the brain. This process of our brain not getting enough of what it needs and too much of what can harm it directly affects mood and behavior. This is seen in pretty much all children, but more specifically in children on the autism spectrum. In addition, there's a strong link between gut health and brain function. Kids on the spectrum tend to have digestive disorders such as constipation, diarrhea, dysbiosis, and leaky gut. They've shown a higher inability to digest certain proteins in the diet, such as gluten, which is the protein found from wheat, rye, barley, and oats, and casein, which is the protein found in dairy products. When casein and gluten aren't properly broken down, it leads to a buildup of opioids in the body. This leads to certain autistic behaviors, such as repetitive movements, inattention, and decreased eye contact. Now, removing these proteins from the diet can truly reduce these behaviors. There was a parent survey done with about 27,000 families, and within that, they found that more than half of the children improve with dietary changes.
Wow. How would a family know which diet is best for their child with autism?
It's a good question. According to the Autism Research Institute, 2/3 of over 3,000 children have dramatic improvements on a gluten-free, casein-free diet. However, every child is different, so it's truly individualized to each unique child. Some appear to tolerate gluten, while others are highly sensitive. Now, I've found in my travels that someone who does respond to the removal of gluten will also likely benefit from the removal of dairy as well. I also recommend in my practice with my patients the removal of excitotoxins from the diets of my patients. Now, excitotoxins are chemicals that are found in processed foods that negatively impact the brain and affect behavior. They include things such as food dyes and colorings, some preservatives, high fructose corn syrup, and MSG.
So if someone came to work with you, Amy, would you be able to guide them, have a food list, or
Absolutely.
If I had to go to the grocery store and find all these things on my own, I would be a little overwhelmed. And, obviously, working with someone like you, it gives a family a good start and to where to even look for these products.
Absolutely. Families need support when trying a diet like this, and I absolutely provide that support for not only for an initial visit, but I can support people for months at a time. And I also do actually grocery store visits with parents.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, just to help them, because I can point out a lot of different items that will really help the child, and I absolutely give them lists. So that's the thing. I mean, any parent can go online and say, oh, I'm going to try a gluten-free, casein-free diet, but then you don't really get the support. What I do is I pride myself on being able to support families because I want them to be successful, and I want them to have their child to have the kind of response that my son had. And every child's different, but I just want the best for the family and for the child.
And I think, I'm just thinking now, I see so many products in the store now that say gluten-free, but you've actually probably tasted many of them too, so you know which ones taste better than others and what brand names might be better.
That's a really good point. Yes, I do, because of my son being on it for so long. I literally have tried every gluten-free product out there just to get the tastiest ones for him. So I actually can save families a lot of money because some items can be pricey, and when you're trying different items and you're buying, 3 different types of bread because you want your child to have the bread that they absolutely like, there's a lot of taste testing. So I can actually save families a lot of money, and because I can identify the things that I feel and my son feels are the tastiest.
That's great. That's a very, very good benefit as a parent, I know. How would a family know once they try a gluten-free, casein-free diet? How would they know if their child is responding or not? How long should they wait?
If your child eats only wheat and dairy products, there's a high likelihood that they will respond to the gluten-free, casein-free diet. That kind of self-limiting behavior is a clue that there might be a biological addiction. Of course, the child doesn't know that they have the addiction when they're eating wheat and dairy. They only know that eating wheat and dairy makes them feel really good. So parents tend to worry about removing these items from the diet because they think that because these are the things that the child will only eat, they think that they have to provide them. But really, children who only eat or mostly eat wheat and dairy products show remarkable improvement once gluten and casein are removed. In fact, it actually opens up their palates. And I find that parents have kids that tend to choose more different types of foods once the gluten and casein have been removed.
Is there a period of time? Is there a timeline that you can talk about in terms of range? Will you see it within weeks or months, or is each child so different that it's hard to give a direct answer to that?
Sure, that's a great question. I mean, every child's different. Some people experience immediate improvement, although it may take as long as 6 months for gluten to clear out of the system and about 1 month for casein to clear out. So a recommendation is to try the diet for at least a year, just to see, and again, every child's different, but it can take this long for children to show improvement. And because really the diet makes changes in the body at a cellular level, and so in order to promote healing, it kind of takes that long.
Are you able to will a doctor do a blood test to look at, can they actually see if gluten and casein is absent from the child's system, or how is that measured?
I mean, there really is no reliable test at this point to be able to tell whether gluten and casein is out of the system. There are some urine tests out there, but they're not really anything I recommend at this point. I think the bottom line is that the longer the patient is on the diet and the longer they're without them, you do tend to see improvement. So it's really more of, at this point, just a matter of time. And I think once those tests get better and more reliable, we could probably start to use them because it would be helpful.
Right. Okay, great. What other nutritional approaches can be taken to help children on the spectrum?
One of the most important steps with children on the autism spectrum is to improve digestion by restoring a healthy gut. This can be done through probiotic supplementation and the use of digestive enzymes. There are also vitamins and minerals that tend to be deficient in kids on the spectrum as well, so it's crucial to find out which nutrients are deficient in order to correct them. For example, Dr. Bernard Rimland of the Institute for Child Behavior Research in San Diego showed that vitamin B6, vitamin C, and magnesium supplements significantly improve symptoms in autistic children. In one of his early studies back in 1978, 12 out of 16 autistic children improved, then regressed when the vitamins were swapped for placebos. In the decades following that, many researchers have also reported positive results when following that approach. So children on the spectrum also tend to be allergic or sensitive to more foods than typical children. So testing to find out exactly what the offending foods are and avoiding them also helps.
If someone was interested in talking to their physician about, or to you, about these vitamin supplements, are there different types of supplements, and what should parents look for?
That's a great question, and I definitely recommend supplements, vitamins and minerals to help children, especially if they're deficient. Now, there are different types of delivery systems when it comes to vitamins and minerals. There's tablet forms, there's liquid forms, there's capsule forms, and then you find different food forms like gummy bears, for example, which kids tend to prefer. But personally, I tend to prefer the liquid delivery system when it comes to vitamin and minerals, and that's because liquids are directly absorbed into the bloodstream without having to be digested, and I feel that more of the vitamin and mineral is absorbed with that kind of delivery system. However, every child's different, and really every supplement's different. So, you know, it really depends on the different type of nutrient that the child's deficient in.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that about the liquid supplements. That's great.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Amy, so much.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for coming and sharing your information with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Again, we were talking with Amy Mattle. She's a registered dietitian and owner of Nutrition Healing Now in Doylestown, PA. Amy can be reached at nutritionhealingnow@yahoo.com. Her phone number is 267-424-5762. If you would like to check out Amy or speak to her further about what services she can offer your family. And if you have any ideas, suggestions about further small talk video chats, you can reach me, Susan at circlespeechservices.com, or my phone number is 215-622-5004. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome. Thank you.